Hey guys, it's PK. How's it going? Got another battle for you, and I'm on Christmas break, which means I can present to you more content more often. And to start that off, I'm gonna start my Christmas break, with a player named FX. Never heard of this player before. I believe that it uses the function symbol, so it's not it's not FX, it's function X. So that's all I know. I don't know this person, but I thought it was an interesting battle, so here we go. I lead Tyranitar and he leads Zapdos. Now this is a good matchup for me. I can go for a Rock Slide and probably kill the Zapdos if he stays in here, or do a huge chunk to it. So if he stays in here, he's going to take a lot of damage. He does stay in here, which I'm surprised, but he gets a light screen off. So, I don't know if that was worth it. He almost died with Rock Slide plus Sandstream, but it worked out. Tried to go for Rock Slide again, and he gets the hint, he gets out of there, goes to his Claydol. I get out of there and go to my Coon. He goes for Ice Beam for whatever reason with the Claydol. I don't know why. He's trying to hit the Tyranitar. You think he would use Earthquake, but he doesn't do it. So anyway, I go for Surf, and he goes to Coon, his own Coon, and we both start calm minding up. Light Screen wears off, and I roar him out. And the fact my roar goes first suggests he tried to use roar, but I was faster. But it may have been a speed tie, so we have to pay attention to that. Unfortunately, we get the Zapdos out, which means I'm going to have to switch here, and he's going to get a free rest off. So that's unfortunate. However, I go for Ice Beam here, and the Heracross gets an unlucky freeze. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stay in here. He could thaw out and just annihilate my Blissey with a Brick Break. So I gotta decide which poke I want to send in to deal with the Heracross. I could send in Dugtrio, but if he thaws out on the switch, then my Dugtrio is gonna die, and that would make Heracross a much bigger threat than it needs to be. So I bring in my Coon, which I think is the safest switch. And if he stays in here, I'm just gonna go for Surf, try to damage it as much as I can, get it down to low health or something like that, so I could set up spikes later, and he'll die from spike damage eventually when he brings it in. However, he doesn't do that, and he goes to his Coon again, which takes his Surf pretty well. Now, I go for Calm Mind up here. He goes for Surf for whatever reason. I don't know why. I go for Calm Mind again, and he roars me out, but he gets the Zapdos out. So he's going to switch here. And I go for Thunderbolt, and he shows me a Blissey. My Zapdos can't do anything here, so I'm going to be forced to switch out. And, deciding who to switch out to. I decided to go with my Fortress just to scout out what kind of Blissey set it is. If it goes for Flamethrower, that'll let me know. But he shows me Aromatherapy, which makes me think I'm safe to stay in here, because how many Blisseys have Flamethrower and Aromatherapy? Not too many in my book. So I decided to go for Earthquake, to scout for a possible Magneton, but he doesn't show it. So I feel like I'm pretty safe to start spiking up here. Shows me Seismic Toss too, so I think it's like my Blissey. It's probably Seismic Toss, Aromatherapy, Soft Boiled, and a move. And I don't think that move is Flamethrower. So I spike up, get the first layer spikes on, and switches to Zapdos to deal with the Fortress. Fortress doesn't like taking Stab Thunderbolts, so I'm going to get out of there. Go to my own Blissey, take on the Zapdos. So things are reversed a couple turns later. Go for Seismic Toss. The Blissey is on low health after taking the Seismic Toss and plus the spikes damage. I'm just going to Soft Boil here. So I take this opportunity to bring in my Fortress free of charge. And I'm just going to go for spikes again, and he's going to go for Seismic Toss. I'm going to go for spikes again. I got 3 layers down. I could explode here. I'm actually thinking about it. That's why it's taking so long for me to move. However, if I explode and he switches to something else, my Fortress probably will die for nothing, because the Claydol is just going to use Rapid Spin. Probably after my Fortress dies. So, yeah, I'm going to save my Fortress here, especially since his team's very stallish looking with Coon, Zapdos, and Blissey. So Spikes is going to help later on, I'm sure. So I switch out, go to my T-Tar, who has to take Seismic Toss, but that's no big deal. And I decide to go for Rock Slide, which I should have anticipated the Claydol coming in to answer my T-Tar and gone and double switch the Coon so it couldn't Rapid Spin. But that doesn't happen, so he gets a free Rapid Spin off, and I spiked up for nothing and took half my Fortress's health down the tube for nothing as well. So that was a blunder on my part. And I go for Surf, and he goes to his favorite answer to the Surf, which is his own Coon. And I gotta be careful now, because if I keep using Surf on the Coon, I'm just gonna be out of Surfs, and my Coon will basically be just a phaser at this point. So I gotta be careful. I go for Roar, and I roar out the Blissey, and I see no other alternative just other than Calm Minding up. Coon answers, I roar him out, and I go first again, so for the second time I'm faster. So it's pretty safe to say I'm faster than the other Coon, which is good because I intentionally made my Coon EV'd to be faster than other Coons. So things are going according to plan in that regard. But I get a Heracross, and I switch out to my Fortress, who takes the Megaharn rather nicely. And once again, I have the opportunity to explode here. But I can't seem to pull the trigger. I just go for spikes, try to recover the spikes that were lost. I go to my Zapdos though, seeing that I'm not going to really win this battle, and the Megahorn misses. And it may have Rock Slide, but since this Zapdos is EV to survive a Rock Slide from T-Tar, which is Stab, I'm pretty sure a Rock Slide from Heracross is not going to do the trick. I mean, T-Tar has more attack power than Heracross usually. So, yeah, my Zapdos is fine. So I go for Thunderbolt, and he shows me the Bliss. Oops, advertisement. And he's definitely within kill range for my Dugtrio, so I go for Thunderbolt again, and I get a lucky Paralysis. Now it's a decision whether to bring the Dugtrio in and hope for a Paralysis. Yep, he gets a Paralysis, can't go for Soft Wild, and now the Blissey's basically dead. So Earthquake makes this a 6-5 game. However, he brings in the Claydol again, and since I'm locked to Dugtrio, I can't really do anything, or I'm locked into Earthquake with Dugtrio, I can't do anything. So I'm going to be forced to switch here, and he gets a free Rapid Spin off. So once again, I spiked up for nothing. However, I do get the Toxic to land on the Claydol. And so now the Claydol is on borrowed time. So eventually the Claydol is going to be so low on health that I'm going to be free to spike up anytime I want. Although my Fortress is low on health, so it may not matter. But goes for Ice Beam, I go to my Coon, and then to take it, and I go for Surf again, and the Coon takes the Surf. So that whole thing. I go for Calm Mind again, or excuse me, I go for Roar, and that keeps the Coon from Calm Minding up, and I roar out the Heracross. Could go for Surf here, but a Megahorn would just do a ton to the Coon, and my Coon's pretty important here, I feel. So I'm bringing my Fortress again, but I figure, you know what, I should have gone directly to Zapdos. And you know what, that's what I'm going to do. So, and I make the mistake here, thinking a Stab Thunderbolt from Zapdos could kill the Heracross. Fortunately, I underestimate the special defense Heracross has, which is part of what makes it a good Pokemon and a threat. And I die from a Rock Slide. So we're a 5-5 game now. But that's going to change. It's going to be a 5-4 game after I revenge kill with the Dugtrio. So yeah, the Heracross is gone. Although I probably could have killed the Heracross without losing my Zapdos in the process. But bygones be bygones. But it shows me Jirachi, which I haven't seen before. And since I'm locked in Aerial Ace, I can't use Earthquake. So I'm going to be forced to switch out here. I'm going to my Blissey, which is the safest thing in my mind, and I stay in just to scout out this set. And it shows me Calm Mind and Wish. And since it has Wish, I'm not thinking it has. I'm not thinking it's a special set. It's probably Psychic Fire Punch set with Wish and Calm Mind. I mean, that's the most common. So I bring in my Coon here, thinking it doesn't have Thunderbolt. But it +2, Psychic's going to do a ton. So I roar him out, taking that damage. And I roar out the poke I didn't want to see, because now I can't recover my health with Rest. So I'm going to be forced to switch out here and do that another time. I go my Bliss once again. That's a pattern this entire game. And I'm thinking about going for Seismic Toss here, because, well, I think the Jirachi's going to come in. So I might as well do as much damage to it as possible, so I can get it within kill range for my Dougie. But he stays in here and decides to go for Thunderbolt, which is a losing battle in my opinion. Although he might be just doing it to whittle me my PP down, and because I could whittle down with Seismic Toss easily, but he's going to Rest here. And I see that as obvious. However, a a sleeping dose is, in my opinion, good because it gives me more of an opportunity to set up my own Coon. And, well, I don't believe it has Sleep Talk. I believe he has Light Scream in place in that. So, I'm going to be able to bring in my Coon a little more often than I can while the Zapdos is awake. So, that's why I let him fall asleep and just play the Seismic Toss PP pressure game that he wanted me to play. But I decided to try to set up with T-Tar here, but I don't get a chance because he brings in his Coon. So I decided to go with the original plan and try to set up with my own Coon. And in order to do that, I first got to rest up. And he sees that coming, so he decides to Calm Mind up in the process. While I'm asleep, he's at +2. If he tries to roar me out, I'm going to wake up next turn, and that's what happens. I'm going to switch here. I'm going to have to take some surf damage in the process, which is no big deal. 23% is not that big of a deal. But at +2, I'm thinking I can roar him out because I'm faster. I have nothing to worry about. I don't have to worry about him roaring me out. So yeah. If I were him, I would just bring in the Zapdos at this point and try to set up, or not set up, but wake up. Because if it doesn't wake up, he has nothing to keep me from setting up. So yeah. I go for Roar again, and that's what he tries to do. He tries to bring in the Zapdos. However, I keep that from happening by roaring his Jirachi back out. So, at this point, I figure I'm just going to attack the Jirachi with Surf, but he brings in his Coon again. So, yeah, I'm just going to use Calm Mind at this point, and for some reason he decides to rest, which is a bad move in my opinion, because now he has nothing to handle my Coon. It's just going to be there. It's just there now. And so he needs to bring in the Zapdos right now. If I was him, I would just do that right now, because this is getting kind of dangerous for him. I hope he realizes that, but I don't think he does. The fact that he used Rest on his Coon makes me think he just does not take this threat of this Coon setting up lightly. However, I'm making it kind of easy for him because I decided to go for Roar, which was stupid in my opinion, and then Surf. So yeah, I gave him a turn to wake up with his Coon. So now I finally realize how stupid I am, and decided to Calm Mind up finally at last. But he's going to wake up next turn. He's probably going to try to roar me out. So I keep that from happening, and that is indeed what happens. He tries to go for Roar, but I'm faster. But yeah, no, actually no, he used Calm Mind for some reason. I don't know why, but I roared him out nonetheless. But I get another Calm Mind up, off, I roar him out. This is what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna use Calm Mind, roar him out when he tries to bring in the Coon, and blah 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 blah. Rinse and repeat. However, he should have brought up Zapdos a long time ago, but I believe it's too late now, so his Coon is pretty much the only thing at this point that can hope to deal with my Coon. However, I'm at +5 right now, and the Zapdos that finally comes in is not going to do it. It's asleep. It's not going to wake up in time. So yeah, that's unfortunate for him. But it does, well actually it does wake up, but yeah, the Thunderbolt's not going to do it, so he realizes that, so he goes for a Light Screen, which pretty much, it's just a stall tactic. It's not going to, after 5 turns, I'm going to be free to sweep here. Yeah, and at +6, I don't even know if the Light Screen's going to be enough to keep me from really damaging his team. But we'll see. I decided to roar out the Coon, keep him from roaring me out, and I get the Claydol. So I go for Surf here, but I guess the Light Screen did matter. It only did 24%, but now that the Light Screen wore off, yeah, it's gonna take a lot of damage, and it does. It takes 50%. However, the Light Screen did have one effect. It made my Surf count in PP really low. So yeah, after the Surf, I only have 1 Surf left. So oh, someone's challenging me. Get this out of the way. Yeah, so the Surf doesn't do it here. Sorry about that, but if you didn't see it, the Surf did not do it here. And so now I'm going to be forced to go to my Doug tree and hope the Psychic doesn't kill me. It doesn't, and so we get a 5-0 game with me as the victor. I thought it was a pretty good game up to the Coon setup and sweep, but I never know if I'm providing you with good games or not that, but games that you guys want, because you never give me any feedback in the comments, hardly ever. So if you really want me to give you good battles, inform me what you want, and I'll look for those kind of battles and give you them. But until then, I'm just going to keep doing things as they are. So yeah, if you don't like it, let me know. But other than that, like and subscribe, please. But until next time, this is PhilosopherKing, signing out.